All right, first-time guest Denny Blanco joins the dime. Denny asked my guest for a hot take to start each show. What do you got for me?
The Cleveland Cavaliers will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to ask later. We're going to talk about that, though. Hold on to it. Hold on to that. All that and more next on the dime.
You are now listening to The Dime with Josh Rodriguez, your weekly go-to podcast for all things NBA. And now, your host, Josh Rodriguez.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Dime, presented by the Ballislife Podcast Network. Steve Nash is out as Brooklyn head coach. Ime Udoka might be in. The league's most dramatic soap opera continues the drama, and we're only a few weeks into the season. My guest and I dissect what this means for Brooklyn, plus go around the league via NBA Twitter. But first, if you want to follow The Dime, you can on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, at The Dime NBA. I'm Josh Rodriguez, at Josh_Rodriguez_. All episodes going forward will be broadcasted on the Ballislife Podcast Network YouTube channel. So if you're watching, welcome. If you're an audio listener, head to YouTube, type in Ballislife Podcast Network, subscribe, hit the notification button, all that good stuff. Give the video a thumbs up, drop a comment, a hot take, a question. It will be aired on the show. And now you know what time it is. It's time for me to formally introduce my guest. You can see him on IG hosting The Breakdown with Denny B, and as the co-host for the It's in the Game and Retro Room podcast right here on the Ballislife Podcast Network. Everybody, please welcome to The Dime, for the first time, Nets fan. This is a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, Denny Blanco. How are you, man? How are you?
Your dreams have now been fulfilled. You are now rocking with the best. It is I, Sir Denny Blanco, the NBA Whisperer. Thank you so much, Josh, for having me on the show. I have a lot to discuss.
We have a lot to discuss, man, because this is an NBA issue. It's not just a Nets issue. Now, typically with my shows, I start with a segment, like an NBA Twitter segment or something fun like that. But this is an emergency. Big news today. Steve Nash has been canned. He's fired. Denny, I need your perspective on this. I respect your opinion a lot, man. You're very objective. That's why you're on the show. Surprised at the timing, shocked, happy, sad. What is it?
I'm so confused. I don't know. I'm so confused. The timeline just throws me for a loop. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am a Nets fan, as you can see, and I'm going through some turmoil. So bear with me, please. Okay? Thanks. Okay. So listen, Kevin Durant, requested this guy to be fired, if I'm not mistaken. True or false, Josh?
True. That would be true.
Yeah. So he requested this guy to be fired, and he wasn't fired. So I'm like, okay. And then a couple of games in, I'm seeing some fire from Steve Nash. He got thrown out the other game, looked like he was possessed. I was like, okay, this is some fire out of him. Yeah. Next thing you know, we've decided to let him go. I'm like, wait, what? What? So did you not want to listen to Kevin Durant? Was it the timing? Like, is it a matter of the timing of other coaches being available? I don't know what it is, but as a fan, as you know, I'm a fan that loves the NBA and loves to watch basketball and watch the Nets. I'm just looking at this decision with Steve Nash, and I'm saying to myself, okay, if you're gonna get rid of him, so you're right. Who are you gonna bring in?
Right.
That is the main question right now I have on my agenda with the Nets, besides every other single thing that I want to go through, whether it's Kyrie's situation or Kevin Durant's.
One at a time, Daddy. One at a time. We can't be jumping from place to place. Now, I guess everyone in the media is saying that Steve Nash was kind of dealt an impossible hand. Do you believe that, or do you think he, deserved to get fired or should take responsibility for what happened with this team?
I do believe he was dealt a bad hand. Well, let's go back again. We don't need a coach. That was a quote, I believe, made by either Kyrie or Kevin Durant during an interview.
Right.
Okay, we don't really need a coach. And this is you guys, and I read this. I don't know if it's true or not. So this is what was said, that Steve Nash was recruited. He was the guy that they chose from what the reports are saying. So
that's what I thought.
I true or false, I don't know. So just keeping it objective, I don't know, but they say he was the one that was chosen. So you choose him, and then you talk bad about him, and then you request he get fired along with the GM,
Right.
along with the GM, and then the expectation is we're just gonna come back and bring it all in, and everything's gonna be okay, and we're just gonna focus on basketball, no distractions whatsoever. Yeah, no,
man.
that's not that didn't happen. No.
No, it didn't happen at all. It was almost like they committed to Steve Nash, and I'm showing myself here, but it's almost like the show Bachelor in Paradise. I can't believe I'm making this comparison.
Please make it.
So, like, Bachelor in Paradise is basically a spin-off of The Bachelor, where basically they have a person on the beach who they want, and then a new girl or guy comes down, and a lot of the times they'll leave who they're with, who they're happy with, for that new sexy thing that comes down. And it feels like Ime Udoka came down as a new person in Bachelor in Paradise, and the Nets were like, peace, Steve Nash, peace. We got who we wanted. Who we wanted to show up at the beach is here. We're going to ditch you. This is why I'm on the show. I think that Ime all of a sudden became available and no one thought he was, and they just pulled the trigger on it preemptively because it's not official yet.
The phone calls in the background going on. It's like, Si's calling Sean, like, Sean, listen, what's going on, baby? Like, it's 5-7, daddy. Like, you think this is going to work? And Sean's like, you know what?
Wow.
It's not going to work. Let me, am I allowed to make some phone calls behind the scenes?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, please do, because it's not looking like the conversation that we had, Si and Sean Marks, with KD, obviously convincing him to stay.
Yeah.
Something happened in that conversation where they said something that was going to keep Kevin Durant there. I'm assuming that's something to do with the coaching. Now, you make a phone call over to Boston. Now, I don't know if you want me to go right into this Boston conversation or you want to wait.
Let's go into it. Let's go into it.
All right, guys, listen. The conversations, a lot of conversations going on. So let me take step by step. First and foremost, I am of the belief that if it's not a criminal issue going on in Boston, which we don't know, there's no facts involved. There's he say, she say this. Ime did this, Ime did that. Okay, we have no information, no tangible information currently. We have people in the background that's behind the scenes saying, oh, this may be something bad. He may not coach forever, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, there's a phone call made. He's available. As long as you pay his salary, no problem. Take him over. Now, even Stephen A. Shout out to Stephen A. He mentioned something earlier in October, mentioning something about they just didn't want to give him up early as opposed to late.
Right.
Like that. Yeah. Well, we just don't want to give the Nets an early lead on this hell we're about to get. Yeah. Just give them just a couple of games in. So, I don't know if this is the whole entire plan. Maybe the Nets was like, we want to fire him early, but we don't know what's going on with the Ime Udoka thing. Well, the Ime just landed in their lap, obviously, because Ime, that wasn't the plan clearly. So Ime, they look up like, wait, Ime's available? The same Ime that was on the Nets bench?
Right. Who we could have hired before, but didn't?
Question mark. Why didn't you hire him? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, inquiring minds would like to know.
Well, because Kyrie and KD didn't want to be coached. There it is. Right? Isn't that what it is? That's why Kenny Atkinson was shown the boot. I mean, that guy was rebuilding the franchise. He got this franchise to a place where they can get KD and Kyrie, and KD and Kyrie decided they didn't want a coach. And Ime, for all we know about him in those 1 year, he's shown that he is going to hold his players accountable. It took the Celtics halfway through the season to get acclimated to his ways.
Something needs to happen with my Brooklyn Nets. And
they do.
2 for 12 tonight, Kyrie.
Oof.
2 for 12. Are you going to make it to the conference room to have a little media session, because that's required, or are you going to skip out on that too?
So you want to hear Kyrie. You want to hear his thoughts on tonight's game.
Well, it's media, and you are a player, and I'm part of the media.
Yeah,
I am.
You are.
You are. I
Me
am.
too.
We're all part of the media, and
Yeah.
we are talking about basketball. That's all I want to keep it on. Basketball.
Okay.
So if I was in that media circle, right in front of Kyrie, sitting there, I'd ask him, Kyrie, it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Do you think it's affecting your game?
This is a dumpster fire, really. It is. I think a lot of people are throwing those words around, but I think it's true. And that's why the whole Ime Udoka thing is funny to me, because like for the past year plus, the Nets have been a dumpster fire. And it seems like Joe Tsai just saw the dumpster fire, was like, oh, I know I'll make this better. Hand me the gas, hand me a match. let's do this. Like he's just making it worse, and at the same time, what Kyrie's going through with the whole thing with the anti-Semitic comments, and that's a whole nother discussion. Compounding that with the news of hiring Ime Udoka, no matter what you think of the Udoka situation, that is the last person you should have hired if you don't want any drama in the organization.
It's like Joe Tsai bought a Bentley. He bought this Bentley. He's like, oh, I'm pimping on these fools. You know what I'm saying? I'm pimping on these fools. I got this Bentley. It's hot. I'm sitting in it.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks in, I realized, AC's not working. Tires seem to be off. The engine is kind of messed up. So, but I own a Bentley, so I do have money to fix a couple of things. But some things I just can't fix on a Bentley. Yeah. So, size takes this ownership of this company, this business, and he looks at his two key pieces, KD and Kyrie. How do we keep these guys happy? Let's surround them with everything that they need. And as he's doing that, he's noticing that these guys are just really fickle about what they need and what they want and how they want it.
Yeah.
I mean, you want James Harden, you don't want James Harden. You want Steve Nash, you don't want Steve Nash. You don't want to take the COVID, you do want to take the COVID. You want out, you don't want out. You want to fire the coach, you want to fire the GM.
Yeah.
Tsai is throwing everything at the wall.
Yeah, but he in turn, he's making himself look stupid, though. Because, I mean, after Kyrie's comments, or not the comments that he had, the press conference, but also what he posted on Twitter, Joe Tsai released a whole statement saying, this is anti-Semitic. We're going to have a conversation with Kyrie. Like, we don't play this in the organization. There's no room for bigotry. There's no hate. There's no, room for any type of disenfranchisement or dehumanization of marginalized communities. And then a couple days later, and again, say what you want about the Udoka situation, you plan on hiring the one man who has accusations against another marginalized community, which would be women and Black women, who would set off a whole wildfire of media drama and more just more instability within the organization. I understand he's a good coach. I understand the Celtics made the finals last year, but he's the last person Joe Tsai should have looked for to fix this whole situation, especially after he just took a moral high ground against Kyrie. Now all of a sudden you want to drop that moral high ground and hire somebody who has these accusations against women. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. It's confusing. It's a dumpster fire. It's the Titanic. I wish I could turn around. I wish I could turn
a dumpster fire on the Titanic.
It's a dumpster fire on the Titanic, and here I am playing the bass on the side, asking for a shot of Hennessy. Right. Why are we in this position, Brooklyn Nets? The conversation should be literally thrown away. Just the whole conversation, and how did it even get to Ben?
There's just a checklist that we have. Okay, Kyrie. Okay, KD. Okay, Joe Tsai. Now let's get to Ben. Talk to Ben.
I didn't even get to Ben. Ben, you just show me. I mean, once again, I explain to everybody when I talk about Ben Simmons. Just full disclosure, I followed him since college, LSU. I watched him not take his team to any finals. I watched him come into the league and then explode.
Yes.
Explode. He teased me.
Teased me too, man. I was so high on him.
He really, really, really was like, I'm going to get you the PS8. It's not even out. No, I got you. No, ain't worried about it. No, I got you.
Right.
Yes, it's out. I got you. No, sir, your injury. You have a back injury. God bless. Shout out to you. Pain. Listen, go ahead and go away until it's healthy completely, please.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time you need. There's been some time. I don't know if that's the case either, but I did watch you these maybe past 4, 5, 6 games. I did watch you. I didn't see the guy who I'm looking for, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The guy that was killing Utah a couple of years ago, gave you like 40-something. That Ben Simmons, that's the guy I was salivating on. That's the guy I was like, ooh, give me him, please. Give me him on the Nets, please.
Man.
And of course, I'm still waiting.
I don't know how long you're going to be waiting. Now, the Nets lose to the Bulls tonight. They dropped to 2-6. Ben didn't play. Now, do you think it's a coaching issue with him? Do you think maybe the right coach can unlock that, or is it like the usual typical Ben is in his head? Ben don't got the dog in him.
We've seen him with Doc Rivers, and we saw what happened during adversity. Example, Exhibit A. Okay, so am I comfortable saying, Josh, that Ime is going to just come in and sweep everything up? I don't know. It took him a season in Boston. Okay,
Yeah, people forget that.
That's a fair statement. It took him a season in Boston for everybody to buy in.
Yeah.
So maybe former player, disciple of Greg Popovich, maybe this guy has it. And Joe Tsai's like, you know what, bruh, at this point, here, come and stabilize this particular part. Maybe he does come in. I'm just throwing my wand.
It's a Hail Mary.
I'm throwing my wand out here, Josh. Maybe he comes in and he gets to Kevin Durant and says, "Yo, you're the guy. Keep doing what you're doing. Cool."
Yeah.
Then he gets to Kyrie and says, "Look, stay off your Twitter for the rest of the NBA." But
and Kyrie listens. Kyrie listens.
That's the hope. I'm assuming he looks.
It's a Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. He looks to Ime and say, "I respect you over Steve Nash." God bless. Maybe that happens, and maybe he gets to Ben, and and says, "Look, Ben, you're the guy. You've always been the guy. Snap out of it. Get to it. You can do it. Whatever it takes. Maybe it's him. But the future. I mean, the way they're talking, it's like tomorrow he's going to be introduced. I don't know. The way Adam and Woj is talking, like
it's like it's a done deal that he's hired already. Yeah, that's what it seems like. So the Nets are now 2-6. I'm going to ask you this question that's here on the graphic. Is this season salvageable? I know, like, it's only 8 games in an 82-game season, so of course it's salvageable technically and theoretically. Like, yes, it is, right? But I'm talking from a Nets fan perspective. Like, can you see a way where maybe Ime comes in, maybe another coach comes in, and all of a sudden the vibe of the whole organization turns and they reach their potential?
A lot of checklists on that checkbox.
There's another one.
It's a lot of checklists on that checkbox. That's why I'm not warm and fuzzy inside. It's because, first and foremost, coach has to come in, set his rules, defensive rules, offensive rules. Boom, check that off. Then we have to get an understanding of the players. Now, is this team good enough to rebound enough against the Giannis's of the world and the Bids of the world and Cleveland's? No. They need more bigs. They need more beef. I don't know if they're going to go to, shout out to old boy down in Indiana, Turner. I don't know if he wants to get out.
He wants to go to LA, though. He wants to go to LA.
God bless. We all want to do things. We all want to do things.
We all want things in life.
We all want to do things, but begging is not going to help. They already know you out there. It's just a matter of the right deal. And the Nets, obviously Joe wants some. They need bigs. So situate the big man. Situate the bigs. You got enough shooters. You got enough scorers right now. You got a balance of defense with Royce in there, and this gentleman TJ Turner, TJ Warren. Excuse TJ Warren from Indiana. Yeah, you get him situated in the rotation. He's a stocky dude. He play some good defense too. You got something cooking. But again, Kyrie's head has to be in it, and right now his past couple of days, he brought this on himself.
Nah, he did. And my thing with Kyrie, I say this all the time on the dime, and I don't want to get too political. It's kind of hard not to get political with what he's been saying.
No, it's very easy. Josh, check it out, guys. You ready? Watch.
Don't be anti-Semitic.
No. Watch this. No, I'm not. Like I'm so professional. Watch this. Watch this. So professional. Look, if there was a PR, public relations.
Yeah.
If there was a public relations person in Kyrie's camp that cared, nothing that you can put out on your Twitter or Instagram feed without context should be allowed. Nothing. Okay. Number one. Number two, as a player for me, I usually tell these guys, if it's not basketball, don't even put it on your social media.
Yeah.
If it's not basketball. So those two things right there, I'm just like, you're attached. Kyrie, you got millions and millions of dollars. Who cares what you say, right? That's the concept. Freedom of speech, right? That's the concept, right?
Yeah.
No. Unfortunately, responsibility comes with that speech.
Yes.
Responsibility comes with that speech. and you are attached to the Nets. You're not attached to X. You're not playing for yourself. You're not playing on the Kyrie team. So for you to get mad at my man for asking, like, hey, bruh, what's going on with your Twitter feed, bro? Like,
right. I mean, he's obviously in the wrong here. I mean, that's how I feel. It's you can't defend this whatsoever. I mean, the video that he posted, the movie that he posted, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I seen enough quotes from the movie and I seen screenshots from the movie to let me know that it is an anti-Semitic movie. And Kyrie, you don't got to be smarter than everybody. That would be my message to Kyrie. You don't got to be smarter than everybody. You don't got to teach people things. You can have your beliefs and whatnot, but when you get pushback and when people are trying to educate you, listen, because smart people listen. Smart people learn from other people. Smart people are willing to have conversation. He's not willing to have conversation. He's not willing to hear another side of the argument. He's not even willing to see other evidence on the other side of the argument. And that's what bothers me about Kyrie. You know what I mean?
If he's gonna be this politically activist, God bless. I'm not the person that shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
Okay. Not there. But responsibility.
Accountability too.
Responsibility and accountability. And there's nothing wrong. Hey guys. Yoo-hoo, guys. Denny Blanco here. Denny Blanco. I make mistakes. Yes. You know what I do? You know what I do? Sorry.
My bad.
I shouldn't have done that. You're telling me why I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I'll learn.
Right. Oh, I didn't see it from this point of view. My bad. I'll take that in consideration next time.
It seems to me that it's so far-fetched to even say that nowadays. And it's like, no, I learn something every 10 minutes. God bless. I am a soaker of knowledge. I need it. I want it. So to land this plane, Kyrie, to land this plane, the plane is landing and it's crashing. There's no landing gear. There's no landing gear. There's nothing coming down from the top.
Right.
The stewardess is not saying, hey guys, brace yourself. The stewardess is literally saying, hey guys, it's gonna be a bumpy ride, but you should have expected this flying on Nets Airline.
On Nets Airlines. Welcome to Nets Airlines.
Well, welcome to Nets Airlines. Ashley,
destination. Nobody fucking knows where this plane is going.
No one knows where it's going.
Destination, the ground, that forest that we're flying over right now.
Immediately. It's literally, I've never seen this type of behavior or multitude of issues on a team, but they vary. It's not anything about trades. It's not anything about anybody getting arrested. It's not anybody about, it's just little.
It's a dumpster fire.
It's a dumpster fire, little nuance, like never seen before on a team. And I'm just like, I'm thrown for a loop.
All right, man. Well, let's end the Nets conversation there. And I want to hit up NBA Twitter.
Did you just? I can't believe. Yes, you really tweeted that out. NBA Twitter, you are undefeated.
Yes, it's time to take a stroll down the hellhole that we like to call NBA Twitter. I picked 3 tweets from my timeline, and Denny and I are going to go over them together. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
All right, here we go. First tweet comes from Busy Exotic at Solo Busy. He says, people freaking out about the Warriors are wild. They could start 5-15, and I wouldn't be worried. They have the right to start slow. Now, they lost tonight against the Miami Heat, so they took another L. Which is going to be swept under the rug because of all this Nets news. Denny, are you worried about the Warriors?
Josh, you've played competitive basketball, anything competitive, sports, anything?
Yes, I was a basketball player and baseball player.
Awesome. Have you been punched in the face?
I have been punched in the face, yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So I just, guys, you got punched in the face during a sport. What sport was it?
Basketball. I actually cut my eye open, was knocked out accidentally. My own teammate accidentally.
Okay, so it wasn't you. Okay, your own teammate knocked you out by mistake in a little tussle situation, rebounding situation maybe. But it wasn't the opposing player, or wasn't in practice one of your teammates squaring up and hitting you right in the jaw.
I've had that. I've had that in pickup games.
And that's in pickup games, right? And in pickup games, they can get really aggressive depending on who's playing and who's talking. So I asked that, and I say all that to say, hey, a kerfuffle happened in Golden State. Now I don't know if this kerfuffle, and we've just had a segment about accountability and saying you're sorry.
Yeah.
Just had a segment. And from what I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors, the questions was always from the time the Draymond Green and Jordan Poole situation happened. I was in my head, I'm just like, this could be a problem. Draymond, this is his last year there. For me, anyway, I think this is his last year there.
Yeah.
I think it's just been too much. Okay. Draymond stepped to Stephen Kerr during a game. Literally, players had to get Draymond the hell off. Draymond was about to let go on Steve Kerr. Strike one. Then Draymond looked Kevin Durant in the face and said, "You a B." You a B, and we gonna win with you. Well, he did win without him.
He did,
but the way he did it was not the way I would have pushed on. Okay, then you talking about him, Bron, and the little balls. You talk about that. Okay, that could have cost him a series.
A lot of people, man.
A lot of people said that cost him a series, and now this. Okay, guys, enough's enough. I think the synergy's off a little bit. Maybe they'll be able to pick it up. It's a little early. Steph is doing what Steph's supposed to do. Clay. I was expecting him to come back a little bit better because of the injuries. It takes about a year or two to come off the mental, and then also just getting your body used to that grind again of the NBA season. So we'll see. Devin Booker cooked him the other night.
Yeah.
Cooked him. And of course, Clay was in his feelings. I understand.
Yeah.
Coming back from injury and you win the chip, but he was struggling even in the championship. So maybe hopefully he gets back his footwork. But when it comes to they have a young nucleus. They have Wiseman, they have Moody, they have Kuminga, they have a young nucleus that can do work.
They can do work, but they're not though. Like that's a lot of their struggles right now because of that.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if that's because of the schedule of the roster, schedule of the teams that they're playing. I don't know if that's it. But when I mentioned the back again, you can say sorry to a guy. You can say not even forgive you. I don't think there was a forgiveness going on, and I don't think Jordan Poole ever spoke to Draymond. I think Draymond tried to reach out, and Jordan Poole was like, "No."
It was kind of just swept under the rug. Let's move on. There was no consequence either. Like the Warriors did not suspend Draymond. There was nothing, hammered down on him. So
I thought he needed to be suspended. I thought he needed to be sat down. I said a couple of games just for the purpose of you can't do that. But whether Steve Kerr's like, yo, listen, let's just get through this year, but he's gone anyway after this year anyway, so let's just get through it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, if I'm Jordan Poole, I'm like, I just got my money. I'm going to be here longer than probably Draymond. That is true. So I have to be professional about this and just keep it pushing. But with Draymond, I didn't like the way he handled it. I liked what he did. And obviously, the team in its whole entirely, Golden State didn't like it because there's no way that tape leaks.
Ooh,
there's no way that tape.
How does that get out? Yeah, how does that get out?
No way that gets out if they actually like Draymond to this point. They're going to bring it in. They're going to be like, yo, where's the tape at? Cameraman, delete. They're not even going to let it out if they like him.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just like, no. We can't just say, oh, they'd be like, yeah. And again, visuals important, guys. Visuals always important. You could always talk about a guy getting punched. It's like, oh, yeah, he punched him on the shoulder. He punched him. No. He laid him out.
Yeah, he laid him out.
So let's hope the next 20-something games, 25 games is telling. I usually like to, judge the season in 25 quarter, 20 game quarters.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens and what's turned. You can turn the Titanic around. Some teams have done it, so you can definitely turn around.
Yeah.
Early.
It's tough though. I think you make a good point too. Like when Draymond does what he does, then it kind of sets shockwaves through the organization. And when you have times like these where you start off slow, the way to get out of it really is to come together as a team and be on the same page and overcome it. And I'm not sure if the Warriors have that anymore. I don't know if they do. I'm not saying they do or they don't. But to me, defensively, they look awful. And then on top of that, your young guys aren't really developing the way that you wanted them to develop. There's flashes here and there, but now you're relying on the Kumingas and the Wisemans of the world to be, that bench unit that, was always an advantage for the Warriors. And if they're not an advantage anymore, you're not really the Warriors anymore. So there's a lot going on there in Golden State. I'm not too worried about them as long as you have Steph Curry. I mean, you're in any game. And if Clay can kind of work himself back slowly into the year, they'll be fine. But they got to figure it out defensively. And those young guys, Wiseman in particular, have to play better than they're playing right now. because if that doesn't happen, there's going to have to be some trade at the deadline. And, the Warriors don't like to trade at the deadline, but you might have to do it this year. So I think it's a mixture of like what's actually going on the court mixed with what you said, what happened with Draymond, there not being any accountability with Draymond, and then kind of being a fractured locker room and the inability for that fractured locker room to come together and overcome a slow start like this. It's going to be interesting to see, because I don't know if they can do it. I mean, they've won 4 titles. Yeah,
Well,
4 titles, so maybe they can.
They got the championship pedigree, and Steve Kerr being the manager of egos that he is.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr being the champion that he is. I don't see an issue him pressing a button saying, Clay, come off the bench for a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, Jordan Poole, I need you to start. Yeah, I mean, we need to get points on the board. Yeah, I mean, our Kuminga, let's get you started. And I don't see him not being able to make adjustments. So we're going to see if Steve Nash has the pedigree to bring them back to
We'll see. Good point. Let's go on to the next tweet. It comes from Chris Walder at Walder Sports. He says, Pascal Siakam is going to be the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time when it's said and done. Denny, I see your face already, Denny. So what do you think of this, man? He's gotten off to a hot start. He's getting better each year. A lot of Raptor fans saying that he should be an MVP conversation. A lot of Raptor fans up north think that we forget about them and never talk about the Raptors. Denny, the greatest Raptor of all time when it's all said and done. What say you?
guys. Toronto, T-Dot, what up, though? I'm gonna see
the
y'all
North.
soon.
You the North.
Yeah. T-Dot, what up, though? I'm gonna see y'all up there. Guys, y'all excited up there? Y'all should be excited.
I like the Raptors a lot this year.
Listen, Pascal Siakam and Anunoby, them guys just put their heads down and they work. And I'm not mad at that. Fred VanVleet, serviceable. I'm not mad at that. But MVP, whoa.
And the
MVP.
greatest rapper of all time.
Greatest rapper. I mean, they're 2-2. Okay, now you said greatest Raptor.
I think I said rapper. I don't think
Raptor.
Pascal.
No, Raptor.
I think it's a rapper.
Raptor. Yeah.
Raptor.
I had to say it out. Yeah, Raptor. Got to get the enunciation out.
There we
Raptor. Yeah. Vince Carter, guys.
Why do Raptor fans don't want to acknowledge Vince Carter like that? Is it because he left
Carter,
y'all? Is that what it was? He left y'all?
Yeah. Vince Carter. There was a guy called Dikembe Mutombo, right? He was like one of these greatest centers, one of the greatest defensive centers at the time. And he was real tall. He was about 7 foot, but he was, my African brother, he was long. Right? So he would just do nothing but defend the rim. He would do nothing but defend the rim. No offense, nothing, a little hook shot, but he would defend the rim. That's all he could do. He was defensive player of the year. He was legit. Come to the rim. He was like Gobert on steroids. Let's put it like that. He was way better than Gobert.
I'm very familiar.
He's way better. So next thing you know, they're playing against Vince Carter in Toronto. Mm-hmm. And Vince took off from the baseline. And he went straight up.
Yep.
And Dikembe stood there. Dikembe 7 foot. Dikembe stood there, and it looked like this. It looked like this. This is Dikembe. This is Vince, and my hat's the rim. Okay, you ready? You ready?
Yep.
Big bro, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Carter is the greatest Raptor right now. Vince Carter is taken to the playoffs, Eastern Conference, I think semis, finals, I believe, I'm not mistaken. Guys, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's taking you guys a lot. Maybe you want to give him Kawhi. You want to give Kawhi because he got you the ring, or maybe you want to
Kawhi played 1 year. You can't give him
that. You don't want to give it to him, but and then Kyle Lowry.
He gotta get past T-Mac first.
T-Mac too. So, slow down with Pascal. He got a long way to go before he's the greatest of all T-Dot time.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has a long way to go for that. But I will say this. Pascal Siakam is probably one of, if not the most underrated players in the league right now. He's averaging 26 points per game, almost 10 rebounds, 7.5 assists. I mean, he's shooting damn near 50%. Defensively, he's a good defender. I think a lot of people forget about the Raptors because they're up north. And I think that a lot of Raptor fans, in essence, go the way that Chris went and then just kind of overcompensate and like, no, he's the greatest Raptor of all time because you're not watching him. And since you're not watching him, you guys don't know what the greatness that you're missing out on. It's like, no, relax. He's not there yet. But I will say this. I think Pascal Siakam is incredibly disrespected by the media and incredibly disrespected by the average NBA fan. So
No,
compromise, Chris. We're gonna
no,
compromise there.
100%. And guys, shout out to your jury. Shout out to my
Yes.
African brother. Shout out to my
Yes.
African brother, your jury. You know what I mean? Because you got to see talent, you got to keep it, you got to sit tight. Hey,
Yeah.
guys, NBA Whisperer. Shh, listen, you hear this? I'm about to put you on NBA Whisperer. You ready? There's a guy in OKC doing work. His name is Shy.
Oh man, here we go.
Shy Alexander's from Toronto.
He's from Toronto. Yeah, he just signed an extension though, man.
Yeah, but signing trades happen all the time, Daddy. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So
and he fits that big guard, that big lineup that Nick Nurse wants. He would be a perfect Raptor.
Whispering.
All right, let's move on to the last and final tweet. It comes from T at AshfordB95. T says, "Can we talk about Luka Doncic being the second best player right now? Number one is Giannis." Denny, I just saw a breakdown you did with Luka, so I think you're going to agree with this, but I'll ask you anyway. Luka Doncic, the second best player in the league, yes or no?
All right, guys.
Show us, baby. Hold on, let me do this.
I'll move
there
it.
we go.
Yeah. There you go, guys.
All right,
So, just real quick. So my top, I got it. It's my top. I got a top 5 right here, right now.
Okay.
I have it broken down into other categories, but the top 5 I have is Giannis, Steph, Joker, KD, and Luka.
Is that in order?
That is not in order.
Not in order. That's a tier. That's
a tier. That's the tier right now I'm looking at, and I'm probably going to remove KD for Tatum in a little bit.
Okay.
You never know. But Luka, second best player. You said second best player, right?
Second best after Giannis. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let me sit on it. Let me sit on it. Do I want to put Luka above Steph? Because I look at Steph. Okay, so let me do my breakdown, right?
Okay.
So I look at Steph, right, and I'm like, okay, once he comes across half court, it's like, okay, you got to draw some doubles. You got to pay attention to him. So that
it affects the whole defense.
It affects the whole defense. So that in itself,
yeah,
it's going to affect your defense, right? But then I look at Luka. When he comes across half court and he gets a high screen, the defense is in trouble, just like with Steph Curry. Same emotion, same excitement in your heart as a defensive player. Like, oh my God, he's coming off the screen. What do I do? Do I show? No, he's giving me the pump fake. Do I? Right. Okay, maybe I show. Oh, I show. He's by me. He's not even fast. And then when I cut him off, he's too strong for me to affect him. And this is bigs. These are guys at his size, 260, 240, 230, around there, right? You put a little guy on him, he's throwing him in the post. You put a big guy on him, he's pulling him out and shimmy on him. And you may get a 3 from here for hit a time. But when you get 40, 12, and 12.
Yeah. It's hard to dispute. And then if you double team him or if you help just a little bit too much, he's going to find the open guy.
Every time.
Yeah.
And he's not finding guys, when I say passing is on 100,000 trillion. Like if his 2K is passing is like a trillion. Okay? When you're talking about passing, and I'll break it down again. You got guys that pass to the legs. You got guys pass, you're catching it over here. Every time Luka gives you the ball, you're like, ooh, right in the pocket. Right in the pocket. I don't got to do nothing but leave it. Nothing but. So Luka, if he's a baby. I call him Baby Bird, guys. I call him I call him Baby Bird. I call him Baby Bird because he's guys, Larry Bird was, slow, wasn't athletic.
He was not.
But you couldn't stop him. You couldn't stop him. He would get the rebound. You'd get in front of you. He'd grab rebounds. He'd hit the right guys for assists, and he would shoot over you. He would get in the post.
Yeah.
What Luka's doing right now, and he's not doing it against, the better people or the bad people. He's doing it against everybody. Everybody can get this work from Luka, and I love it because he's having fun. He's giving you the work and he's laughing at you. Like back at home, they shoots in the background. Back at home, when I score buckets, you think this is play? This is different. This is nothing. Like he doesn't. He's coming down doing like he'll get bumped. He's like, oh, I like this. Give it to me.
And one
Every time. And one. He did a pass against the Nets. He went to the post and then he went to the post. He drew two. Two people came and he even looked through behind his back over the head. I said, okay, enough. Just lay down. Just Nets. Just look. Steve, there it is.
Honestly, man, if Luka was as effective on the defensive end as he is on the offensive end, I don't even think it'd be a question. I think he'd be the best player in the league.
Well, he'd be over Giannis. But of course, for me, that's why I put Giannis at number one.
All right, well, that's going to end it for our NBA Twitter segment. Let's hit a few headlines before we bounce. Now, you mentioned as your hot take, I saved it for right now. Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs are off to a 5-1 start. You already answered the question. Are the Cavs a dark horse contender in the East? You answered with your hot take, which is a resounding yes. Let me hear your reasoning.
Okay. Break down Denny Blanco, baby. Listen. First and foremost, when it comes to playoffs, all that back screen, high PNR, pick any play that you could possibly think of. Just throw it out the window. Doesn't exist. Okay. It's the playoffs, baby. You got to have guys that can make their own shots, create when the shot is down to 5 on the shot clock. And when I look up at the Cleveland Cavaliers, I look up, I said, wait a minute, hold on. They already got Darius Garland. Heavy work. He's going to give you heavy work, okay?
Yep.
Then you have Caris LeVert. These are guys you just give them the ball on the wing and say, give me 2. All right, I'm going to turn over here, and I'll just go run to the back. Okay? You got Darius Garland, and Caris LeVert, and then you add Donovan Mitchell. 3.
I'll give you 4. Evan Mobley in the post, who can
create
whatever he wants against bigger guys or people who are defending him. So
I want him to get more physical. I mean, I've been seeing him get a little, pushed out. So I'm waiting for him to get more physical, more strength before I lean on him. But I'm going to lean on those 3 guards to give you the work. And then you have Jared Allen, who's just going to sit back there and say, come get some.
Right.
I'm here. I'm here to help. So I look at that. Then I look at Kevin Love sitting there, Isaac Okoro sitting there, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is a very, very good team to watch. And I'm seeing everything else happen with my Brooklyn Nets. I'm seeing what's going on with everybody else in the East, whether it's Miami, whether it's Philly. Obviously, Milwaukee's got off to a great start. Atlanta. And I look at Cleveland, I'm like, they're there to play ball. They don't have any expectations. They don't have anybody looking at them. They're not on the radar. They're able to just play ball and keep their head down. So let's just see if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are a dark horse Eastern Conference contender. They just beat the Celtics. I know it's a regular season game, and that doesn't matter too much, but it was in Boston, and it was a game that I think the Celtics should have gotten up for. I don't think the Heat are going to be anywhere near where they were last year. So that's an Eastern Conference contender that is kind of out the way. The Sixers are kind of a mess trying to figure themselves out right now. Playoff basketball comes to a lot of different things, and one of the main things is like, can you get a shot when things get difficult? And the Cavs have, you said 3, I threw in Mobley, but they have 4 players who can essentially do that. And then they have shooters, and then they have rim protectors. They can go small if they want. To me, I mean, I think people are overlooking them a little bit. I think this team can not only make the Eastern Conference, I think they can win the Eastern Conference.
Well, listen, I believe in my African prince, Giannis.
Oh,
I believe.
My God, I forgot about the Bucks.
Yeah,
my bad.
God bless. That's what we're here to have this conversation.
Yeah. Denny, you just say embarrassment.
God bless. That's why we're here. It's where one hand washes the other. Guys, Josh, Giannis is up there just doing what he's supposed to do.
Right.
Leading a team. Excuse me.
Without Chris Middleton. You see how bored I forgot.
He's down. And the Bucks are just doing what they're supposed to do, which is play defense, get the ball to Giannis. Giannis is going to make everybody get open shots, and we're going to just lean on Giannis, and that's it. And that's consistency. That's what you can rely on. So I'm not even looking at anybody else. It's early, but the East is loaded. Don't get it twisted when it comes to Atlanta and your New York Knicks. Hey, I I believe you add Jalen Brunson to the mix, and now you have Jalen, you have RJ, you have Randall. You get them to the wing. Playoff time comes if they're able to because of this loaded Eastern Conference. I think they have some hope. I just believe these other teams are a little bit more situated,
Yeah, I
players
mean,
and their rotation and the coaches.
yeah, I mean, I take that back. I mean, I actually picked the Bucks to win the championship, so the fact that I forgot about them in the East is kind of embarrassing. But my hierarchy goes Bucks, Celtics, Cavs, and then after that, it's just a whole nother tier of teams that I really don't trust. If I'm being completely honest with you, I had the Sixers earlier in the year, but they got off to such a terrible start that I'm not taking them seriously. I don't
But
care if they get their act together.
but even as I go down the East, I'm like, I have the same statement every time. I love it, but every time, I look
Yeah,
at
there's always a
Miami.
disclaimer.
I look at Miami. I'm like, I love it, but
Yeah,
Jimmy's on something.
right.
Duncan Robinson sitting around.
Yeah, half court offense ain't too good.
Bam Bam was looking kind of shaky the last
Right.
couple of times I seen him.
Right.
Then I look at Atlanta. I'm like, that's good, but
Yeah,
Clint Capella can't stay healthy.
right.
I'm like, good. That's a big core of the nucleus. Don't get me wrong. Trey's doing his thing out there, but Clint Capella is the big key for them to go far. He can't stay healthy. Then you give me the Sixers. Looks good, but I haven't seen James Harden since Houston.
He's been playing all right this year. We got off to a decent start this year.
And God bless. Like I said, guys, you're going to
Yeah.
know me. You see this face? You're going to see this face a lot. Let me tell you something. James Harden, and I talk when I say you're going to see his face a lot, when I say explain this type of statement, if you're going to give me top tier performance year,
Yeah.
MVP caliber year, I'm going to expect that all the time. Pardon me for enjoying your part without injury.
Right.
Pardon me for expecting excellence from you. Sorry, I thought that's what you do. I thought that not everyone can have the Black Mamba mentality. I get it, and that's okay. So we go down a list, and I'm just like, okay, this is what I have to deal with. So it's an early season, but the soap opera continues.
All right, let's move on to the last topic. Kawhi Leonard is to miss the next 6 games due to knee injury. Denny, what do you think? Is this extensive load management, or do you think there's something more to this? Do you think he's actually more hurt than the public has been led on to believe?
As a fan and the NBA whisperer, I can tell you this. Kawhi has a nagging injury. It will not go away. At this point, that's what it is. We can't.
It's been a while, man.
There's no fronting.
Time.
There's no fronting. My guess is they put a bionic knee in this man's knee,
right?
And it's literally holding him together by threads.
You think that's what's going on?
And from time to time, they need to oil it. Literally, I don't think he literally can go an 82 season ever again. And
man,
it's very sad. Very is. I mean, I can go through a list of guys that I was just like, hey, Brandon Waugh. Okay,
oof,
guys,
so dirty. Oh, he would have been so dirty. He was dirty,
guys.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Google Brandon Waugh. I prayed every day for him to have 2 good knees.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's injuries, whether it's knee, whether it's ankle, Grant Hill. I prayed for his ankles.
Yeah.
Top tier Grant Hill. Detroit Grant Hill. I prayed for his ankles.
Anthony Hardaway.
Tracy McGrady. These things, there's a
even D Rose to an extent, man. We missed out on some prime D Rose years.
We only got a little.
Yeah.
Just a little, you know what I mean? Just a little, like Josh giving you a flash of what that was, guys.
Yeah.
Like John Morant right now, he's giving you a flash of what that was. D Rose was on another level like that.
Yeah.
Like that, okay? MVP level. So
yeah, he won an MVP. Yeah.
MVP level. So when it comes to Kawhi, I that's why I can't lean on the Clippers. It's like, guys, you want to lean on the Clippers when this guy can't get healthy. It's evident. So you guys just hopefully he's there for your playoffs. Paul George is there with the rest of the team. Hopefully they can hold the fort until they get to the playoffs and we see what happens. But other than that, yeah, man, 6 games with a knee injury, extensive. It's both. To answer your question,
it's
extensive
both
low management and it's a lingering injury because again, I've been watching NBA for a long time.
Yeah.
Some of these injuries, the guys get it and then they, sail off into the sunset. And some of the guys continue to play and it's just like, wait, how come you're not healthy and you're coming back?
Yeah.
Why are you coming back 3-4 years and you're just not healthy? Just for all that, go away.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
literally go away, get healthy, sit on it, get healthy, then come back and give us the product.
I don't think Kawhi can do that, though. I do think this is a really big time injury that he has, unfortunately. And because of that, I didn't think that until this particular time. I mean, I thought every time Kawhi sat out and there was load management, I would roll my eyes and just be like, oh my God, again, really, dude? Like, you're not playing. I just saw you play yesterday. You were running up and down the court. You were fine. But, for him to miss this much time early in the season doesn't really make sense, aside from the fact that, no, there's something up and there's something like seriously up with his knee. And, I didn't know that. And, for the first time in his whole career, I'm starting to buy into the fact that, man, this actually might be something that is way more serious than I thought it was. And because of that, what you just said, I can't take this Clippers seriously. I mean, how are the Clippers going to be able to have this chemistry going into the playoffs? Even if Kawhi plays in the playoffs, like, what kind of chemistry do you have? You're just throwing him on the court and you expect everything to be fine. I mean, the Clippers right now are struggling. Even when they win, they look bad. They beat the Rockets by 2 the other night. It was like pulling teeth. It's like, every game that they've won, it's like Clipper fans are disappointed. They catch a W and, they're barely above 500. The team has a lot, that they have to kind of reconcile with. And one of that is Kawhi's injury. And I don't know how you get chemistry with Kawhi out like that, no matter how deep you are. And they are deep.
Just Kawhi's coming back. Don't worry about it. The guy, listen,
man.
Toronto, he had Toronto injury issues.
Yeah, but he played most of the time. He did have load management, Toronto, but he played. He played the whole playoffs, and he played enough to the point where, like, there was cohesion with the team. They knew what they were with him. This Clippers team does not know what they are with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George playing at the same time. They don't. They have no idea who they are. Denny, I would like to thank you for coming on to the show. It's been real, man. Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you, and where they can find your podcast, which so happens to be on the network that you're watching right now, the Ballislife Podcast Network. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification button. But Denny, I'll let you take it away.
You know what it is, Josh. Check it out, guys. Listen, it's In the Game podcast on Ballislife. My man, Randy J. Cruz, and I, Sir Denny Blanco. You can find Sir Denny Blanco on Instagram and Twitter. So, yeah, guys, we do a show. We break down the games. We talk about backstories, and we get to work. Guys, we've been doing it for a good time. Shout out to Josh for getting us on the show, getting us some good eyes. We appreciate it. But yeah, no, come check us out. Once again, it's Sir Denny Blanco. It's on IG and Twitter. Holla at your boy. And if you don't agree with anything I say, that's cool too. We can just respectfully disagree.
That's what it's all about, baby.
I'm with that too.
Sports talk's about. I love it.
I'm with that too. Holla at your boy, Josh. I appreciate you.
No doubt, man. If you want to follow the Dime, you can on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Dime NBA. I got my handle on YouTube now, which is pretty cool. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. I will see you next week for another episode of the Dime.